Hello, everybody. What an exciting moment it has been. I know we didn't start on time, but don't worry, we will catch up, hopefully. Still, for the next days, please try to be here in time. I know the breakfast is tempting, but still, we have a lot of work to get done. So, hello and welcome to the 10th anniversary cycle of the EU Youth Dialogue, this time under the motto, We Need Youth. It is lovely to have you here with us.
Buenos días. Quiero dar la bienvenida a todas las personas en la sala a la primera Conferencia Europea de la Juventud de este ciclo. So, welcome everyone to the first conference of the 10th cycle here in Alicante.
My name is Clara Dame, and I'm the European facilitator of the cycle. So this means that most likely you will also see me in the other conferences. And a couple of years ago, I was actually a German youth delegate, so I was just in the exact same spot as you, and I'm very happy to be back.
So, my name is Cova Salvador. I'm part of the pool of trainers of the Spanish National Youth Council, and this is actually my first conference, so I'm really excited to be here with you and really to learn a lot about the conference style.
We are looking forward to 3 exciting days of shaping European policy making together with you, with the focus of youth inclusion.
So I was telling my colleagues before, and also Clara, that we are so lucky of being here in this beautiful city of Alicante. We have the beach just in front of us. This is a beautiful setting for us to have a great conference. I know it might be tempting to go to the beach in some of the moments, but we really, really encourage you to stay with us. There will be moments where we will enjoy the city as well. So don't worry, just stay with us for the conference and then have some time to take the city with you in the breaks, okay?
So we're just looking forward to that good balance, but again, we have a lot of work to get done, but of course also a lot of networking and hopefully a lot of fun during the conference. So with this having said, I would say let's get started. To kick off this EU Youth Conference here in Alicante, I would like to invite 2 representatives of the host team of this conference. So please welcome David Veloso, Director General of the Institute for Youth and Spain, as well as Andrea Henry, who's President of the National Youth Council here in Spain. Please join us on stage.
Okay, dear youth delegates, commissions, and guests of honor, I would have liked to speak in English, but I don't have the fluent to do it. Please excuse me for that, and I hope you can follow my speech with the translation of the screen. Bueno, es un honor para mí estar en esta ciudad tan bonita como Alicante, además aquí al borde de la playa. Quería darle la bienvenida en estos días que vamos a estar juntos en esta Conferencia Europea de Juventud y después en la posterior reunión de directores generales de la Unión Europea. Estoy convencido que van a ser unas jornadas muy fructíferas, con un trabajo intenso y con un diálogo entre todos que va a ser fructífero para tener acuerdos y tenerlos en cuenta en las próximas reuniones y también en nuestros estados nacionales. Quisiera dar la bienvenida a todas las personalidades que nos acompañan, desde las delegaciones de los Estados miembros de la Unión Europea, más Noruega e Islandia, en tanto países componentes del Espacio Económico Europeo, así como los representantes de los candidatos a la futura adhesión al Club de los 27. También un saludo muy especial para el European Youth Forum, para el Consejo Español de la Juventud de España, con quienes hemos tratado de organizar de la mejor forma posible estas jornadas y que puedan disfrutarlas no solo también del trabajo que van a tener, sino también de la compañía y de las amistades que aquí en estos espacios se generan. Igualmente, gracias a todas las personas que han hecho posible con su trabajo y esfuerzo esta jornada. Bueno, Alicante fue elegida evidentemente como una ciudad ideal para tener este encuentro. Qué mejor escenario para debatir y trabajar que estar aquí a las orillas del Mediterráneo, el Mare Nostrum, símbolo histórico de apertura y de intercambio entre culturas, como por lo menos como espacio positivo, ¿no? También tiene otras cuestiones más negativas, como todos sabemos. Les propongo por ello hacer de esta conferencia un espacio de diálogo constructivo que recoja este testigo, histórico por cierto. Para conseguir este propósito tenemos por delante unas jornadas que abordan en general todas las metas de la Estrategia Europea de Juventud en este periodo 2019-2027. Pero bueno, en este caso, como todos ustedes saben, nos vamos a centrar en la meta número 3, las sociedades inclusivas. Cada una de estas metas, producto del 6º ciclo del diálogo joven de la Unión Europea, llevado a cabo entre 2017 y 2018, representan en la actualidad las demandas de los jóvenes más sólidas, ¿no?, para las instituciones y también para los colectivos sociales, especialmente para lo que es mejorar sus vidas. De tal manera, considero necesario mencionarlas brevemente para no perderlas de vista durante todos los debates que van a tener aquí lugar, especialmente porque creo firmemente que las 11 metas son fundamentales, tenerlas en cuenta de una manera integral. Para empezar, es básico en uno de estos lemas de la Unión Europea en materia de juventud, conectar a los jóvenes, especialmente mediante la información y el diálogo constructivo en estos espacios participativos. Como todos sabemos, y esto es una de las metas de la meta 1, la 4 y la 9, cuando yo, por ejemplo, me reúno o estoy en eventos como este, siempre la juventud remarca lo siguiente: queremos ser tenidos en cuenta, queremos hacer políticas públicas, queremos estar en la toma de decisiones, porque como todos ustedes saben, muchas veces las reclamaciones, las demandas no son tenidas en cuenta, ¿no?, por los decisores políticos. Esto queda patente, por ejemplo, en el último Eurobarómetro Flash sobre Juventud y Democracia 2022, que las expectativas de los jóvenes no se están cumpliendo. Y en este sentido, creo que la Unión Europea y las instituciones públicas tienen que tener en cuenta esta cuestión. El Año Europeo de la Juventud remarcó esta cuestión. Los responsables políticos tienen que escuchar las demandas de los jóvenes. Así que, bueno, esto también queda refrendado en uno de los últimos informes del Comité Económico y Social Europeo, en la que lo dije bien claro: los jóvenes tienen derecho a participar en el diseño de las políticas de juventud. Está claro que es necesario trabajar para reducir esta brecha existente entre las instituciones y las personas jóvenes. Actualmente, o digamos por primera vez, creo que en esta conferencia hemos conseguido una cosa que creo que es un éxito, y es tener una reunión conjunta específica entre los jóvenes que participan hoy aquí y los decisores políticos. Creo que esta novedad es importante por una cuestión fundamental. Vamos a tener un espacio que va a ser como una antesala a la reunión de directores generales. Y creo que este tema hemos hecho mucho hincapié para que, bueno, al final tengamos un compromiso lo más sólido posible, ¿no? En segundo lugar, quería hablar también de una meta que es fundamental: la igualdad de género. En este caso, nuestro país, España, en los últimos años se ha convertido en una vanguardia en esta temática. Antes eran nuestros vecinos del norte y ahora, con muchísimo esfuerzo desde nuestro ministerio, hemos conseguido ser una referencia feminista internacional. Y creo que esto es importante destacarlo. Así que creo que debemos seguir empujando, no solo desde las instituciones, sino también principalmente desde colectivos y la sociedad civil organizada. Creo que gracias a ellos España hoy puede ser una referencia en esta materia. En lo que respecta a salud mental y al bienestar, podemos afirmar que es uno de los temas más visibles que afectan actualmente a la juventud internacional. Y esto, la pandemia lo puso como espejo, pero ya venía de atrás este tema. 1 de cada 2 jóvenes europeos declara tener necesidades insatisfechas en atención de salud mental. Y creo que las instituciones no deben mirar para otro lado, sino poner los recursos adecuados en esta materia. Las personas jóvenes se enfrentan en su día a día a incertezas para construir un proyecto de vida, para no tener las oportunidades que en otras épocas tenían, y a un factor que es importante destacarlo: la ecoansiedad. Creo que esta nueva situación en que nos encontramos por la deriva de nuestro planeta es importante que las instituciones se tengan en cuenta. No obstante, las instituciones públicas somos plenamente conscientes de ello, y creo que a nivel nacional, con unos presupuestos generales expansivos en materia de juventud, tienen en cuenta esta cuestión, por ejemplo, a través del Plan de Acción de Salud Mental 2022-2024. Impulsar a la juventud rural es otra de las metas también que creo que hay que tener en cuenta para una sociedad inclusiva. Es crucial igualar las condiciones que hay en el campo como en la ciudad, ¿no? Creo que este factor a veces hay unas diferencias notables. En nuestro caso, en España, no sé si lo habrán escuchado, si nosotros conocemos nuestro país como la España vaciada, no tiene los mismos recursos públicos, no tienen servicios públicos esenciales en materia, por ejemplo, de salud, sin una cuestión fundamental que muchas veces cuesta la vida, porque no hay simplemente una ambulancia que llegue al pueblo, ¿no? Y en este sentido, creo que desde el Injuve fomentamos la igualdad entre todas las personas jóvenes, vivan donde vivan. Y en este sentido, por ejemplo, en el último Premio Nacional de Juventud, tuvimos muy en cuenta este factor. Por otro lado, referente a la meta número 7, necesitamos conseguir empleo de calidad para todos. Actualmente la precariedad en nuestro país, en España, es uno de los factores fundamentales para que los jóvenes no puedan emanciparse. España tiene cosas muy bonitas, como ustedes pueden comprobar estos días, pero los jóvenes no pueden emanciparse casi hasta los 30 años. Hemos superado ese número fatídico, ¿no? Y creo que es importante ponerlo aquí hoy en boga, ¿no? La juventud tiene el mismo derecho que otros colectivos y el trabajo decente y digno es fundamental para poderse emancipar. Por otro lado, también es importante, y creo que es importante destacarlo, un aprendizaje de calidad, con una inversión importante en lo que respecta a la educación no formal, con complementos y mecanismos para que los programas europeos ayuden en este sentido. Creo que aquí tenemos una batería importante en el programa Erasmus+ y también un programa en el Cuerpo Europeo de Solidaridad, que es un éxito en este sentido. Por otro lado, y este es un aspecto en el que creo que las personas jóvenes lideran y con sus prácticas han sido bastante innovadores en lo que es toda la renovación. Voy a coger un poquito de aire. Toda la renovación de las prácticas de la acción colectiva. Te agradezco. Muchas gracias. Para construir una Europa sostenible. Creo que, por ejemplo, aunque el Pacto Verde Europeo, los ODS de la Agenda 2030 o el Acuerdo de París son hojas de ruta fundamentales, también en muchos casos quedan como mera retórica y al final los cumplimientos de todos sus puntos van aplazándose y posponiéndose y no cumpliendo. Y esto creo que es importante destacarlo también desde las instituciones públicas. Creo que es importante proteger nuestros planetas porque al final es lo que le vamos a dejar a las generaciones siguientes. Por último, en este 10º ciclo del diálogo de la juventud hemos puesto foco en la meta número 3, unas sociedades inclusivas. Y para ello, muchas veces las personas olvidadas, como por ejemplo los jóvenes tutelados, que quería aquí hacerle referencia, no tienen las mismas oportunidades ni se organizan como muchos colectivos de personas jóvenes, sin duda por sus dificultades. Y creo que en este caso, en esta conferencia, hemos invitado a expertos, hemos invitado a investigadores que tratan esta materia, que conocen de cerca este problema y que seguro que les van a ayudar con su conocimiento a tener en cuenta su realidad. Creo que es importante tener en cuenta a las personas que ya no tienen oportunidades, sino que no tienen muchas veces nada. Y esta cuestión la hemos puesto como referente en esta reunión. Desde la presidencia española del Consejo de la Unión Europea, entre las prioridades está no dejar nadie atrás. Esto va a ser visible, espero, en los próximos meses, en las 2 conclusiones que vamos a sacar adelante. Y creo, en este sentido, que todos los colectivos tienen que estar presentes en esas conclusiones. Las mujeres, los migrantes, las personas LGTBI+, y las personas, como decía antes, olvidadas y que no tienen oportunidades. Por nuestra parte, este factor lo hemos tenido en cuenta en la estrategia de la Juventud 2030 y en concreto en las 200 medidas del Plan de Acción de Juventud que concreta esta estrategia. Por último, me gustaría finalizar haciendo una mención a la reunión que vamos a tener en los próximos días de directores generales, en las cuales vamos a abordar dos temas, un tema que es fundamental y que es necesario debatir y que yo creo que en los próximos años va a ser una realidad, que es el Youth Test. Creo que esto es fundamental para que se visibilicen las políticas públicas y su impacto y también aquellas políticas que no se están teniendo en cuenta en esta materia. Vamos a trabajar también en el programa Erasmus Plus y el Cuerpo Europeo de Solidaridad, que muchas veces no tiene en cuenta esta visión inclusiva. Creo que este factor hay que digamos, tenerlo en cuenta. Y nada más, quería también mandar un saludo afectuoso a nuestros compañeros del trío de la presidencia, a los compañeros húngaros y belgas. Espero que disfruten mucho de estos días juntos y estoy seguro que esta conferencia va a ser todo un éxito. Muchas gracias.
Hello, good morning. First of all, I want to say that I'm a little bit nervous because I have to speak in English, but I wouldn't be Spanish if I'm not nervous about speaking in English. So forgive me in advance for everything. To start, I want to express our gratitude to all the decision makers who will be with us during these days, here and at the DJ meeting, especially to the director of the Injuve, led by David Veloso. But we also want to express our deep appreciation to the entire Injuve team, Tamar, and Tanya, and everyone for making this important event possible. And I also want to thank them for the tireless effort to ensure the participation of the Spanish Youth Council in the planning of the whole conference, as well as for the closeness and mutual understanding. Last but not least, well, almost last, I want to express my gratitude to the European Commission, represented here by Biljana Sirakova, the EU Youth Coordinator, and of course to all the Consejo de la Juventud de España, in advance, CJE team, especially Germán, Xavi, Jorge, and Sakti, and all the national working group. However, the true recognition and gratitude goes to the two protagonists of this conference, the young delegates from all European countries. Their presence and participation will enrich the discussion and contribute to the creation of a promising future for European youth. But we also want to recognize the immense value for the participation of delegates from candidate countries to the EU. Your presence here underscores the importance of involving youth voices, not only in existing European member states, but also in shaping the future of Europe as a whole. So thanks to the Injuve for supporting the importance of work that CJE, with the support of the European Youth Forum, has done to have them here today. So, one of the reasons we are here is, of course, to defend the importance of youth representation. And for that, allow me to begin highlighting the work of youth councils, as we also have some representatives and friends here. It is essential that the voice of young people is taken into account at all stages of public policies, from conception to implementation and evaluation. Often, it is perceived that the participation of young people is used only for show, without actually being present in the creation of youth-related public policies. Instead of being consulted afterwards, we should be included from the beginning of the development process. But what I'm going to tell you that you already don't know, young delegates. This is not just a question of representativeness, but a necessity that benefits the entire population. Statistics show us that youth political participation is usually lower than other generations. This is not only a waste of youth talent and energy, but it also leads to policies that do not adequately address the challenges and aspirations of our generation. The benefits of youth representation are clear. When young people are an integral part of the decision-making process, it leads to more equitable, relevant, and sustainable policies. However, we must also be aware of the challenges and barriers that young people often face when trying to actively participate in policies. As European youth, we share many common concerns: mental health, housing, employment, climate change, just to name a few. We are here to actively participate in this conference because we believe that our voices must be heard and taken into account in decision-making that directly impacts our lives. As young people, we bring fresh perspectives, innovate ideas, and passion for change. But we are not just the future, we are the present. Our insights are invaluable, and our commitment to creating a better future for all is bringing us here, all of us. Allow me then to share some data about our reality of young people in Spain today, so you can better understand the magnitude of our challenges. According to recent statistics, only 15.9% of young people in Spain are able to become independent, compared to the 32% of the European Union. The average age of emancipation in our country is 30.3 years old, which represents a significant obstacle to our independence. Youth unemployment in Spain stands at 27%, an alarming figure that surpassed the average in other European Union countries. This situation limits our opportunities for growth and professional development. Young people's mental health is a growing concern, and suicide has become the leading cause of death in our demographic group, above cancer or traffic accidents. This stat is a clear sign that we need to seriously and compassionately tackle mental health. But it's not just that. Climate change, gender equality, free and universal education, these are all topics that we have to address if we want truly talk about inclusion. These problems we face are closely related to our inclusion in society, as I said. Social inclusion is crucial to ensure our well-being and development. However, too often, our problems are minimized as they are minor obstacles that will disappear over the time. Why does this happen? Why our concerns are often seen as second-rate issues? Why is there the belief that once we turn 30, everything will change? The answer is adult-centrism. Adult-centrism is the mistaken idea that young concerns are not important or valid simply because we are expected to outgrow these life stages eventually. But we have already realized that this is not the case, that not everything changes. When decision makers create regulations without taking our voices into account, we face the consequences of adult-centrism policies. We need to be heard, respected, because our experience and perspectives are essential for the future of our society. And that's why the Youth Dialogue Program is so important, because that's exactly why we are here and what we are looking for. Before I finish, I'd like to highlight a couple of things. The first one is that's a little bit more special for me to be here, because a few years ago, in 2017, I was part of the Youth Dialogue Program, being an ambassador from my region, Valencia, and I was participating not in the conference, but in a local level. And to finish, I'll let you know that I always end up quoting someone. And in this case, I wanted to choose a song from a young singer who is making waves, Olivia Rodrigo. She says and summarizes what I mentioned a moment ago in her song, Teenage Dream. When I am going to stop being wise beyond my years and just start being wise. When I am going to stop being great for my age and just start being good. Unfortunately, this is not a sentence from Olivia Rodrigo's song, not only a sentence, from Olivia Rodrigo's song, but it's something that young people who are here encounter in our daily lives. That is why I ask all the people who are here today to change their mindset and work together to change the situation that youth is experiencing. I hope also you enjoy Alicante and Spain these days and get to know more the CJE and the work that we do more closely. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you very much, David and Andrea, for opening this conference and also for hosting us. We will see you, David, back together with your colleagues actually on Wednesday when we have a dialogue session with the DGs on youth of the member states. So this will be one moment where you can get into interaction and actually have a deeper dialogue. And Andrea, also just to highlight the support of the National Youth Council, not just have you been involved in the preparation and planning, but actually your pool of trainers is also going to be the facilitators who will guide you. You can see them over there, already very excited. who will guide you through the working group sessions and help you facilitate the dialogue. So thank you again for hosting us. Now you already know some people from the planning and organizing team of the conference, but actually now we would like to know who's in the room. And for that, we will do a bit of movement also because it's still the morning and we want you to get energized because we are in the process of getting ready to start working. So please, we will read out statements. If the following statements apply to you, if possible, then please stand up. Otherwise, you can shake your hands or use some sort of signal to show that the following statement applies to you, all right? So let's see who the representatives are in the room. I already mentioned some part of the planning team. So please, if you're part of the planning or organizing team, if you're a researcher, a facilitator, a harvester, if you're from Acciona, anybody who has been part of organizing this conference, then please now stand up or give us some signal. Okay. Great. Thank you for working hard the past few weeks, months, maybe even up to a year for preparing this conference and for welcoming us here.
So I would like to ask everyone who is representing an international non-governmental youth organization to stand up or wave your hands as well.
Okay, there you can see some of the NGOs. Great to have you here with us. If you're a ministry representative, or maybe you're even a Director General on Youth yourself, then please also, we would like to welcome you to the conference. Please stand up, wave your hands, give us some signal that you're here as well. So many, great. We are very much looking forward to diving into the dialogue together with you, and we know you bring so much expertise also to the discussion, so thank you for being here.
So if you're here to enrich our dialogue sessions, if you're part of the youth delegations, please stand up as well or wave your hands.
Okay. We can see that's the majority of the people. Lovely. Great to have you. Now we know that there are also some other people with different roles, very diverse roles, and we would encourage you to maybe go to them during the coffee break and to ask them what their role is during this conference. So please, if we haven't mentioned your specific role now, please shake your hands, stand up, give us some signal. Don't be afraid. Okay. Remember those faces and talk to these people and discover why they are here.
So finally, if this is your first conference, if this is your first EUYC conference as me, just stand up or wave your hands again and let's have a great conference all together. Oh, such a lot of new faces here. Okay.
Then a special welcome to all the people who are new to this format. And it is, of course, also a new cycle, so there are a lot of new things that will be discovered, and especially in today's plenary in the morning, we will try to have a slow onboarding process to have everybody on the same level, so that in the afternoon, when we start the working group discussions, we are ready to go and get into the content. If still you will have some challenges navigating through the conference, or you have questions you would like to address to someone, then please reach out to the people of the organizing team. Some you have seen who waved their hand in the beginning, but especially today you can recognize them by their white t-shirts. So please, there are some representatives of Acciona, the tech team who is supporting us. Can you also please wave your hand and show your t-shirts as well? Okay. So if you have a question during the conference, if you see anybody with this t-shirt, I'm sure that the person either has the answer for you or they can help you find the answer. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Also, you have received a link to the web app, and the web app is kind of our pool of knowledge where all the documents for the conference, the agenda is put in there, all information for our informal program, and also the list of all delegates in the room. So if you want to network, find out who somebody is, then please use the web app. Last but not least, of course, we also want to at least try to have this conference be a safe space and an inclusive environment. And for that, we believe it's quite important to have a listening ear as well. And for this conference, Shatki is going to be our listening ear. Please stand up as well. Thank you, Shatki, for being with us. And if you have any concerns, if you would just like to talk to somebody about some issues, do you experience some difficulties you had during the conference, something you would highlight, some feedback you have, then please reach out to Shatki, who is also part of the planning team. Okay, I believe that was a lot of input for the beginning. Now we want to initiate the dialogue a little bit. And for that, we have prepared questions for you. But instead of reading them out ourselves, we would like you to read out the questions. So please check below your chair if you have a question. If you have a question, please hold it up in the air. I can see 2 questions already. Oh, there's the third one. Okay.
El uno?
First. I think we need first.
Uno para cada uno.
No. ¿Qué? No, esto es.
Okay. So, we've hidden a few questions for you. And what we want you to do is to actually engage in a dialogue at your table. We know that for now, at your table, most probably there are your delegations, maybe there are some people you already know, but maybe there are also some new faces. So I'm going to go to the first person, and I would like to, ask you, hi, can I ask you, what's your name? Can you stand up, please? Can you stand up, please? What's your name and where are you from?
So my name is Beatrice. I'm from Belgium. I'm a youth delegate.
Nice to have you here. Can you read out the first question for us?
Yes, so the first question is, why are you here and what do you bring to the conference?
Okay. So we will now give you a couple of minutes just to talk to somebody at your table close to you, and please ask them, why are you here and what do you bring to this conference? Please, start now. Thank you, Beatrice.
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah. Will you do the second one?
Okay.
What was the blue one? What was the second question? Green or so it's over there. Okay. Please try to conclude your discussions. Okay, everyone. Now I'm actually curious to hear what some of you said. Hi, sorry. Can I interrupt you for a moment? Can I just briefly, first of all, ask you to stand up if you like? Can I ask you, who are you, why are you here, and what do you bring to the conference?
Hello, everybody. My name is Fiona O'Leary.
Sorry, can you turn around and people can see you?
Hello, everybody. My name is Fiona O'Leary. I'm here representing Rural Youth Europe. What I'm bringing to the conference is a rural voice. I think sometimes in consultations, it's easier to engage urban youth as opposed to rural youth. So I just think that's an important voice. Also, I am a diabetic, so I think it's important to bring forward the voice of people with different needs. So I think that's why I'm here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Koba, I will actually hand over to you for the second question.
Okay, so I'm looking for someone who has a blue cardboard. I guess it's over there. So I will kindly ask you to stand up and tell us who you are and if you can read the question out loud for us.
I'm Sharena and I'm from the Dutch National Youth Council. And the question is, when we talk about inclusion, what shouldn't we forget?
Okay, so this is a little bit deeper question actually, but I really, really encourage you all in the tables to take some time to reflect because this will really help us with the dialogue part later, so.
It should not forget.
Yeah.
That's because I hear some people wondering, should not forget. Okay, take some time now. If you think about inclusion, what should we not forget? A couple of minutes again for some discussions.
Okay, so I know this was a kind of deeper question, and I know this can lead to a lot of discussion, really, really impactful and rich discussions, but I would like to ask maybe someone here to share their impressions, how like the key points that you were talking in this table, for example, if you want to stand up.
Sure. I think I have to watch there.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Leon, and I'm also a Belgium youth delegate from the German-speaking community. And we talked a bit about it, and we mainly said that we really want to include youth from every background. So to not just speak with those who are already engaged in the process, but also those who are not yet engaged in the process.
Okay, nice reflection for being just done in 5 minutes, but I really like that we are already having this kind of conversations. For sure this will be really rich later on.
Is there anybody else who would also like to share what they have been discussing? So no random pick, but anybody who would like to speak and share what they've talked about. Don't be shy, raise your hand if you would like to speak up and share? Nobody. Oh, you're still also shy.
Is it still too early, maybe?
Maybe. Last chance. Anybody want to take the floor? No? Not yet? Really? Okay, we will come back to that. Don't worry, in your working groups, you will have much smaller groups, and again, this is all about dialogue. So we really encourage you to take the floor, to share your opinions, and it is quite relevant for us that everybody is able to participate in the dialogue, because we brought you here from very different backgrounds, very different expertise levels, to all share your views and perspectives so that we can have a diverse dialogue going on and have different perspectives involved in the recommendations and ideas which you will be developing. So don't worry, more chances to speak. We have a final question somewhere. Where is the final question? Over here. Sorry, can I just ask you to pass? Thanks. Who had the question? Who would like to read it out? Please, can you stand up and share with us?
I'm Eric, and I'm Slovak Youth Delegate. And our question is, what would you need to happen during the conference for it to be a success?
Okay. So what would need to happen during this conference for it to be a success? Can be anything, practical things, content things, really, you name it. So please take a few moments to discuss with the people at your table, what are your expectations? What would need to happen?
Yeah, but it's...
Okay. Please
I will do it.
conclude your discussions.
Wave, but I will invite them to the stage. Okay?
Because I don't invite them to the stage.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm now very eager to hear, and I walk towards this table, and I would like to ask you, what would need to happen during this conference for it to be a success? Who would like to take it for? Okay, somebody is encouraging you. I think you should.
Hello.
And please also turn around.
Okay, hello, I'm Boldi, I'm from Hungary, and we just talked about that if we have conversations with other young delegates from other countries, then I think it's already a success. If we can change some experiences and some phone numbers, then I think it's already a success.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And again, hopefully, especially during the informal activities, you will have a lot of time of networking, but of course also in your working groups. And I really want to encourage you to ask different delegates what is their perspective, what is their role, how did they get to this conference? Whether it's youth delegates, ministerial delegates, the INGYOs, everybody is really an important stakeholder because they have different perspectives. Okay, thank you for this first very quick round of dialogue. I know it was not enough time to discuss the questions, but if you need an icebreaker during the coffee break, now you know what questions to ask. Okay, and with this, Kova, I think I'm going to hand over back to you.
Okay, so thank you, Clara. Thank you, everyone, for being so much involved in this kind of conversations. And after this nice reflection moment that, as Clara said, we really invite you to keep having during all the breaks, we are ready to know more about the EU Youth Dialogue and the 10th cycle. So knowing that there is like a lot of people that is new to the conference in the room, I would like to take this moment to invite our very special guest, Liliana Sirakova, in the stage. She will explain us more about the EU Youth Dialogue, and so Liliana, you can come here. Yeah, I will pass on the stage to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kova. Good morning, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here. My name is Biljana. I'm from Bulgaria, but in this conference I represent the European Commission. We didn't get to stand before, so I'm going to ask I'm going to play a facilitator here and ask my colleagues also, Karen van der Wege and Marta Tujkova from the Youth Unit in the Commission to stand up, and also anyone who's from the EU institutions, the executive agencies, the IKEA, the European Economic and Social Committee, Committee of the Regions, please go ahead and stand up. Okay, we are not that many, but we still are, there's some of us. Thank you. So, yes, I mean, this dialogue, because I'm going to zoom out a little bit in my presentation, is quite important for the EU. So this is what the presentation is about, also to show you why it is valuable to us and why we are involved in it, why the Commission, the EU, is funding this process for many, many years now. Before going further, I also want to thank again the Spanish presidency of the Council of the European Union for organizing this wonderful event. It's truly a pleasure, and you've chosen a magnificent place. I also want to give credit to the whole trio, Spain, Belgium, and Hungary, because they have prepared together with us the 10th cycle, and it's now kicking off, and we are looking forward to working with all of you. And I also want to give credit to all of you, actually, because already for more than a decade, for more than a decade, this dialogue is going on, and I think we all collectively have to be very proud of this. If I have to paraphrase, it takes a village, it takes a big European village to keep this participatory mechanism going for 13 years already, and this is amazing. So I think we have to also have this appreciation and pride in this process. The conference is part of this process in order to also continue it in the future. So we saw that many of you are new to this, to the dialogue, and this is your first conference. So I'm going to give a very short overview so that we are also all on the same page about what is the dialogue, why are we doing it, how are we doing it, and I promise it will not be long, but just to zoom out and see it from the big picture. So why the dialogue? So we have to first recognize that the EU is interested in this process, and as said, is participating for many years now because it's fully aligned with the priorities of what we are trying to do in youth policy at European level. EU member states are coming together, they have some priorities, and you can see them on the screen here. We want to hear from young people, from all of you. We want to also hear your voices in a variety of topics areas, so this famous mainstreaming of youth policy. We want you to connect to the EU and to connect to this sense of active citizenship. And the dialogue, this conference is part of it, but the whole process is really delivering all of that. So this is why for so many years we have it going, and this is why we treasure it and why we are all here and we want to make it work. And I also want to point out to the EU strategy, I know that many of you know, it has some specific instruments. This is how we are achieving our long-term plan to engage, connect, and empower young people. And the dialogue is one of these instruments. It is really an instrument of achieving our priorities in youth policy and working together with young people, encouraging their participation, empowering them through youth work, connecting them through borders. So this is what the dialogue is helping us achieve. A quick word also about another instrument that you see at number 7 here, the EU Youth Coordinator role. The role that I have. It is also a role that is fully aligned with the priorities that you saw on the previous slide, because the coordinator role was also introduced in order to improve how we work internally with young people, I mean internally in the EU, in the Commission, how the different sectors communicate on youth, how they exchange, but also externally how we connect with young people and youth organizations. So this is what the role is about. When talking about the dialogue, I think it's very helpful to go back and see where it started. So this is a reminder that it's actually started, like I said, more than a decade ago. It's in the 2001 communication, white paper, sorry, on the A New Impetus for Youth, where it was proposed to organize direct dialogue with young people. So I think it's quite amazing to see how far back it goes. Then it was a bit later, in 2005, that we had a communication, and where maybe we can trace the origin of this event, because the EU Youth Conferences, many years ago, started with these états généraux, these annual assemblies of young people with decision makers. So we have to appreciate this history that goes back, and that this instrument has persevered through the times. And then in this very busy slides, and you will have this presentation after that to take you to look at more carefully if you want, you can see also the past 10 cycles. And of course, I will not I'll not go into details of any of it, but I just want to show you what I started in the beginning. It is truly a collective effort. You can see all the different countries that are mentioned here. The European Youth Forum, the Commission have been part of all this time. And you can see that every cycle has a concrete output that is the result of it. And we think, I hope many of you would agree, that this has made a difference for young people in the past decade. I know that in some cases we say, okay, there can be more follow-up, more results, and we do agree with that. But I think we have to still kind of appreciate and take a moment to see what has already been there. So you can see that there are many priorities that were addressed during the different cycles, and indeed now in this cycle, in this conference, we are talking about inclusive societies, and I think in the next presentation we'll hear more about that. Then if you're wondering where I can find out all of this information, documents, on the European Youth Portal, which is our kind of one-stop shop for young people, for resources, there is something called the EU Youth Dialogue now, a library. And in the library, if you are so inclined, you can go and read all the different conference reports, the consultation reports from past cycles, also the council resolutions, the documents are there. And then from this conference, once we have the conference report and we have the output from this whole cycle, it will also be out there for anyone to see. Then just a few words on what the instrument is. So we discussed why we have it, just a few words on what it is. Again, I will not go in details. It was very well explained in the notes that the organizer has sent around. But it is this exchange and this dialogue between young people and youth organizations and policymakers at all different levels. It's an important thing to say that, you know, at the national level, we have the exchange, the consultation, later the implementation, and then at the EU level, we have the conference. And as you saw in the previous slides, we have the output from each cycle. Then here, this one recaptures a bit the key elements, 18-month cycles, which I think you know that happens with an overall theme. Then we have the youth conferences, and then we have even consultations during the European Youth Week, the next one being next year in April. We have an overall coordination by European Steering Committee, which is the representatives from the trio presidencies, but also from the trio's national councils, from often they're youth researchers, usually the European Commission is present. The implementation, as well as the consultation, of course, happens through the national working groups. And here you have the link if you want to go and see maybe where many of you are, find the contact. And then the member states and the Commission should be continuously involved in disseminating the outcomes and sharing good practices together with the national working group, because at the end, the implementation of the dialogue also happens at the national level, and it's our view, the national working groups, who have the practices and can be there to exchange and learn, and together we do better. So these are the key elements. I know that many of you know this very well, but I think it's also good to kind of showcase it just for some that are new to the process. And just maybe some final words. As I said, this has been going on for many years. I think the dialogue has evolved from structured dialogue, then after 2006 to the EU Youth Dialogue. Nowadays it has more precise objectives, which were in the EU Youth Strategy, in an annex of the dialogue. It has more specific objectives. It's a better link with the youth goals and with the strategy. We have gotten to collectively better at measuring the impact. There is now stronger methodology. Youth researchers are involved to support us through the whole process. And I think the last one is quite important, because more and more we want this process to be youth-driven. And in the national working groups, the importance of the lead role should be given to the National Youth Council. While in the structured dialogue, actually, not to go into details, but in the legal basis, it said that member states should give, whenever possible, leading role to the National Youth Council. This, whenever possible, was removed later. So now it's a full expectation that it's the young people, the youth councils, who are in the leading role in this process. So, which means together, collectively, we have a responsibility of this process, both to carry out the consultations, to make sure that many people in your countries, in your regions are involved in it, that we hear their voices, but later to follow up on that, to follow up on the actions that we see, like I said before, we were talking in the table, to send reminders to push, and to advocate for these changes. So with that, I finish with a quote from the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, about Europe needs all of its youth. And I think we need all of our youth also in this dialogue. You know, it has to be inclusive, and this is what we'll talk about. And then young people must be able to shape the future. And this is what the dialogue is about. This is what the conference is about. So you have a key role to play in it. So I would like to thank you very much, and yes, make the world a better place. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Biliana, for providing us with this insightful presentation, for setting up us all to the EU Youth Dialogue mood. I think we are ready to start this conference with really insightful discussion, so thank you again. So now I am inviting to the stage Nicolas Cuyala from the European Youth Forum, that will give us some insights as well about the European Youth Forum as part of the EU Youth Dialogue. So please come to the stage. Do you need a mic, or do you prefer?
I think I can speak here, yeah. All right, good morning, everyone. And on behalf of the European Youth Forum, I'd like to welcome all of you to the EU Youth Conference here in sunny Alicante. My name is Nicolas Cuyala, and as a board member of the European Youth Forum, it is a pleasure to be here with all of you as committed representatives of young people this week. I started my own EU Youth Dialogue career back many years ago as a youth delegate from Finland. Over the years and cycles of the dialogue, I've seen both growth and responses to incredible challenges. The pandemic, the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine, funding cuts in different countries and communities, and many more have challenged us, the European youth, to work under mostly extraordinary circumstances. The fact that we are all in this room present, it means a lot to me. And I know it's meaningful also to you. At this point, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who has contributed to organization of this event, including in particular, of course, the Spanish presidency and my fellow members of the European Steering Group. This conference is an exciting component of the EU Youth Dialogue cycle. We meet every 6 months for an intense set of sessions trying to solve the biggest problems of our generation. For many, it might feel like the time is too limited, as it also does for us. But it's good to be reminded that our voices are heard also in other parts of the dialogue process. As we know, during each EU Youth Dialogue consultation cycle, young people come together in their thousands to share their responses to surveys, consultations, and events organized by committed national youth councils throughout Europe. And in doing so, make it clear what issues they want decision makers to focus on and the ideas they have for implementing solutions. EU youth conferences provide us all with the opportunity to go deeper into this work that we have been doing at a local, national, and also regional level. We're able to share best practices and discuss these findings with our peers and institutional representatives from the European Commission and the Council of the European Union. This dialogue allows us to come up with recommendations together to be reflected in the EU's work. As you may have already noticed, there are also delegates here from non-EU states. It has been a priority for us at the European Youth Forum and also in the European Steering Group to also invite participants from countries in the neighborhood of the Union. When we're shaping the future of the EU, it is of the greatest importance to visualize the future composition of the EU also. The young people who will hopefully be EU citizens one day soon should already have an opportunity to influence the union they will live in and co-create. Dialogue moments such as these and the coming together of representative youth organizations and decision makers are of fundamental importance to the democratic functioning of the European Union and allow the ideas from young people to be heard at this high level. The EU Youth Dialogue process has delivered some amazing initiatives at EU level. Did you know that the Youth Guarantee, the initiative that ensures young people under 30 have a right to education, training, or a job, was developed as a result of your prior delegates' work? The 11 youth goals developed in 2018 also became the driving force behind the EU Youth Strategy and remain an important guide to areas of policy focus today, including the inclusive society's goal of this conference. In order to ensure big successes like this continue, we need to ensure that even more is done with the results of each cycle at EU level. We need every Commission Directorate General, every European Parliamentary Committee, every Council of the EU Department working on EU affairs to become aware of the results in young people's priorities and ideas so these can be taken into account in policy making. I would therefore call on everyone to implement the results at all levels, particularly the decision makers present here today. Turning a bit to the role of the European Youth Forum at EU level, the Forum is responsible alongside the European Commission with providing continuity between these cycles and conferences and the institutional memory of the process. We advise trio presidencies on how to organize these conferences and work closely with the European Commission to ensure the smooth running of the consultation process. We also defend the youth-led nature of the process. It is of fundamental importance that national youth councils should be in the driving seat of the national working groups and the dialogue moments at these conferences. Youth organizations that are youth-led, democratically constituted, and independent from government are at the cornerstone of a thriving civic space and should play a vital role in the EU Youth Dialogue. Only these structures are able to, through their representatives, bring the voices of young people with all their diversities who have contributed to these consultations to EU-level discussions in a non-partisan representative manner. It's regretful that not all member states are as committed to this principle as we are here at the European Youth Forum. I would call upon all member states here today to ensure that this model is defended, including through playing a challenge function to your member state peers who do not embody this principle. Together, we can uphold the vitality of our democracies. And on that note, I wish you all a fruitful conference.
So, thank you so much, Nicolas, for your presentation. Thank you for bringing us the word of the European Youth Forum. And I will now take this little moment to tell you 3 little things about myself, completely out of context, okay? So, first thing, I'm Spanish, born and raised. Second thing, Belgium was the country where I did my first ever solo trip in my life, so it holds a special, let's say, part of my heart as well. And Hungary was the country where I did my Erasmus almost 10 years ago. So what does this mean? This means that I am introducing now the representatives for the national youth councils of the trio presidencies. So please, Germán, Zoe, and Benita, come with us to the stage.
Hi, hello, I'm Germán from the Spanish National Youth Council, and welcome to the sunny Alicante, as Nicolas said. Today we gather not to enjoy the nice beaches of Alicante, perhaps yes, but instead to focus on how the European Youth Dialogue helps us, all of the youth from Europe. They say, adults, that young people are like Wi-Fi. We have our ups and downs, but we always find a way to connect us. And just like the European Youth Dialogue, aims to connect and empower young people from all walks of life to create a more inclusive and cohesive Europe. In this important pursuit, we first acknowledge the vast diversity in Europe's youth. Our commitment remains steadfast in ensuring that young people facing greater obstacles continue to have a prominent place in the European Youth Dialogue. European Youth Goal number 3, inclusive societies, stands as a beacon guiding our path. It seeks to empower youth and ensure the inclusion of every young person with our society. Recent global crises, such as the COVID-19 pandemic or the climate emergency, has shaken the very foundations of our societies, impacting the social fabric and cohesion of Europe. More specifically, in recent years, young Europeans identified the following challenges. Poverty. I would like to remark that 1/4 of young people in the European Union are at the risk of poverty or social exclusion. For example, as Andrea commented, we also have mental well-being related problems, social exclusion, access to quality and employment, peace and security, migratory flows, and the use of new technologies. This pressing challenge put an immense pressure on the social cohesion of our union. Our approach is clear. We remain to reach out to those marginalized groups, those in rural areas, those with disabilities, those from socially vulnerable backgrounds, and more. Our European Youth Dialogue partners are dedicated to enable every young person to take an active role in shaping the dialogue on issues that affect us. As we focus on the needs and realities of our young people facing great challenges, we'll examine different dimensions that inhibit opportunities. For example, disabilities, mental health, lower educational backgrounds, NEAT, not in educational, employment, or training situations, Roma or migrant backgrounds, membership in ethnic, racial, or religious groups, limited socioeconomic backgrounds, or LGBTQIQ+ identities. To address these challenges, the 10th cycle will leverage information and constructive dialogue to formulate policy recommendations to the European Commission and the Presidency of the European Committee. And we are committed to ensuring that the preconditions for youth engagement are firmly established in this conference and the following ones. Our journey to these goals will be done by research, national consultations, European Youth Conference that reflects the diversity of our youth. The 10th cycle will also equip stakeholders with tangible tools and methodologies, as will be explained by my colleague from the Belgium presidency. This cycle will be a collaborative effort implemented hand in hand with youth workers, educators, NGOs, and of course the national youth councils. In closing, we must celebrate this 10th cycle of the European Youth Dialogue. The trio presidencies of Belgium, Hungary, and Spain join hands in recognizing the success of this vital program through these 13 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Germán. So, passing the word over to Zoe now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Herman. So first of all, I would like to thank the Spanish presidency to give us this opportunity to present ourselves, the Belgium presidency, the people who are beyond this, and also to present the other actions that we are creating in this framework of the youth dialogue. So first, thank you again for this. So I'm here to represent the three National Youth Council of Belgium. So of course you can ask yourself, why are they three National Youth Council? But I will explain that a bit later. And I'm also here to, on behalf of all the stakeholders that are playing a role in this youth dialogue process. And first of all, I also wanted to excuse my colleague, Sophie Verbrugge. She's actually the coordinator of the Belgium National Youth Council, but she couldn't be present today. Yeah, it's still very important to mention her because she played a big role in preparing this youth dialogue. So, yeah. So now, who is behind this Belgium presidency? So I will try to make it clear. And maybe some of you already know that, but Belgium has a very special way of working, let's say. So we do have three national languages. I don't know if some of you know them. Yeah? Dutch, okay, nice. So you're very, so Dutch, it's Dutch, French, and German. And so the competencies, so the topics are distributed at different level of authority, so federal, regional, and so also per community. And for the youth competence, it's at the community level. So concretely, it means that we do have three youth ministers, three national agencies, three youth administrations, and three national youth councils. So I'm here to represent all of these people, so it's a big pressure for me, I would say. I hope, but I'm sure that they trust me, right? Yeah, thanks. So now that you have a better understanding of how Belgium is working, I also wanted to explain the actions that we all, the trio presidency, created in order to celebrate the 10th cycle and the 10th anniversary of this youth dialogue. So first of all, as already mentioned, the motto of this cycle is "We need youth." That's very important to have it in mind. And also, it's very exciting because this current trio presidency already rolled out the first cycle of the youth dialogue, like more than 10 years ago in 2010. So it's very exciting to be here once again. And now, so to celebrate this 10th cycle in a very impactful manner, we wanted to develop very concrete tools to improve the European Youth Dialogue, so in order to increase the visibility, but also the accessibility, the inclusiveness, and thus the youth participation. So I think that all of you, everyone, all the national working groups recognize the importance of consulting and engaging young people from different profiles. But we also acknowledge that there are some audiences that are still underrepresented in this process. So we think that it was very important to create concrete tools that help us to reach out these underrepresented young people. And also because we are addressing the youth goal number 3, which is the society, the inclusive societies, we also think that it's important to create this tool in order to conduct inclusive consultation. And so for this reason, we decided as a trio to create an online toolbox that aims to help national working groups to conduct inclusive consultation. It's already uploaded in the Youth Goals website, so youthgoals.eu, and it will also be implemented in the app of the Youth Conference, so thanks again for this, the Spanish presidency. And so this online toolbox, you can find different categories, such as information on the importance and the benefits of consulting in an inclusive way. Also tools and methodologies in order to create inclusive consultations, and also good practices. You should also know that this content is based on European sources, so that every national working group can use it and adapt it. And yeah, I just also wanted to add that it's important to say that this online toolbox aims to be improved by the end of the cycle. So if you use it, please feel free to send us some comments so that we can also improve this toolkit by the end of the cycle. So it's an optional tool. You don't have to use it, but we just hope that it will serve as a source of inspiration to carry out more inclusive consultations. So that was our goal as a trio presidency. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much also for presenting the tool. I think that's something that would be really valued at some point. So thank you so much. So now, Benita, last but not least, passing the word over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. If at this time of the day it is appropriate to say good morning. It's a pleasure to address you all. My name is Benita Circul, and I am representing the National Youth Council of Hungary at this conference of the 10th cycle of EUYD. I think this is an important occasion organized by our Eastern partners from Spain, and this conference marks the beginning of a journey toward a more meaningful youth engagement and empowerment through the European Union. Considering that EUYD, previously called Structured Dialogue, was initiated during the previous Spanish, Belgian and Hungarian presidency, the 10th cycle serves as a quasi-jubilee, offering an appropriate opportunity for reflection, defining the way forward, celebration, and emphasizing the importance of youth expression and engagement. I think you can all agree with me when I say that EUYD coordinates the voice of young people really effectively, and as a result, many presidencies decide to incorporate policy proposals formulated by the youth in the Council documents in the youth policy field. This meaningful work is further structured by the fact that the selected youth goals ensure coherent and consistent cooperation, bringing together states that otherwise historically, geographically, and culturally differ. Thanks to the European Union Youth Dialogue, several projects have been initiated in Hungary as well, which enhance the fulfillment of the youth goals as well. And, okay, I just saw that here is my presentation. So I would like to talk a little bit about two projects, and the reason for this is because I think these projects, and you will see in a bit why, help us as Hungarians to be more productive in this collaboration in the 10th cycle. So first of all, our first project I want to introduce is the Vídeo project, which was actually a Hungarian initiative, and the inspiration came from this very platform. And this project is a significant initiative inspired by the insights and discussions of the EUYD. The project is designed to be a beacon of youth-driven action and innovation, and at its core it is the belief in the power of inclusion and representation. It supports network building and capacity development through trainings and seminars. And in this project, we will conclude a 2-year youth study based on inclusivity and representation. And in this youth study, we are asking questions to several European youth organizations with special attention to nationalities, marginalized groups, and the rural youth. So this will also help us to understand the needs of the current youth in this presidency. The next project I would like to talk about is a cooperation with one of our previous youth delegates, and it's a CAD band project, and it translates to garden inside or something like that in English. And the project aligns with youth goal number 10 from the previous cycle, Sustainable Green Europe. And this project is basically helping students to create biodiverse mushroom gardens inside the classrooms, so they can learn about ecological awareness and fostering environmentally conscious behavior. And here comes the part you're all interested in, the work in the trio. So here I would like to talk about 4 things, what you can see here. The work is already in full swing, and we are looking forward to our collaborative efforts over the next 1.5 years. And in our capacity as a part of the presidency trio alongside Spain and Belgium, Hungary remains committed to making a lasting impact. First of all, we have invited several new members into our national working group to collaborate. And these are individuals dedicated to advancing the youth agenda, strengthening the voice of young people in our society and enhancing the efficiency and quality of the work in the upcoming period. Additionally, we are excited to announce a new study, also focused on inclusivity, like the previous one, but this is a different one. The study will further foster a more inclusive and equitable European society. And this study, it will also be helpful that during the regional discussions, we will pay special attention in inviting participants with the broadest backgrounds and geographical locations possible. As the tank cycle in, I don't see my slides. Okay. Okay, thank you. As the 10th cycle encapsulates the past 13.5 years in a kind of a structured framework, since we are back to the founder presidency trio, we were thinking about how to kind of celebrate the previous period and how to encapsulate this period further. And I think since, okay, whatever. And I think since we are back to square one, it is really important to just stop and pause for a second and kind of reflect in the preceding period. And I think it is evident, and you can all see that these conferences as well are the imprints of time, and that our collaborative work serves as a really good aid for European policymakers to addressing youth issues in an appropriate manner. And at the end of the trio presidency in 2024, a closing conference of the 10th cycle of the EU Youth Dialogue would actually allow us to present the outcomes of the past 10 cycles. The conference, besides highlighting the different processes of the dialogue, could also gather various members of sectors through panel discussions and roundtables. Within this trio, we have the perfect opportunity to reflect on the past cycles. Therefore, organizing such a closing event would provide an opportunity for the founders to share their experiences and knowledge with the youth, and it would also serve as an opportunity for the youth to share their experiences and their opinions of the current problems and of the current cycle. And this way, this event would symbolize the commencement of our work intertwined with the continuous development. And in conclusion, let me embark on this new cycle with renewed determination and a shared vision for a Europe that places its youth at its forefront. And thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, so thank you very much to the three of you. And as a way to close this trio moment, I would like to throw a question to you, a little question, one word to reply. What are your expectations for the cycle? In one word? 2 words maybe?
Innovation, maybe. I think, but inclusion would be like too mainstream right now, I think. I would say innovation.
Okay.
And massive collaboration.
Perfect. So?
Yeah, I would also say focus on the quality of the exchanges and consultations.
I would say youth engagement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much for this intro. And I will invite Clara now back to the stage with us.
Thank you very much, Zoe, Raman, Benita, and we really do hope and believe that all your expectations, as well, of course, the expectations you had in your discussions earlier, will actually come true. And for this, of course, the presidencies are an important stakeholders, but on the other hand, delegates, national working groups do also have a crucial role. In the end, the dialogue is not just taking place here at the conference. The EU Youth Dialogue is not just the EU Youth Conference, but it is actually all levels, all member states, from regional, local level to national level, everybody engaging and shaping the dialogue. So the expectations are not just towards the presidencies, but also to all of you.
Okay, so I think now it's time to recap a little bit on what's coming next, what we've done, right?
Yes. So we said that the morning is kind of an onboarding process. So just to briefly look back, we had Biljana as EU Youth Coordinator introduce that to the history of the EU Youth Dialogue. And you've seen what the previous cycles did and also what the role of the EU Youth Dialogue is within European youth policy making. And probably if you've read the documents, if you've been on the onboarding meeting, or if you did listen closely to what Biljana said, you know that this is an anniversary cycle, because this is the first time we are going back to the first presidency who held the first EU Youth Dialogue. So this is really a special moment where we can take a look back of what has happened already, and we did that in Sweden, and also think about what should the next 10 cycles maybe look like, how should we shape that? And Benita already highlighted that especially in Hungary, we will take moments to have those discussions on how to improve the dialogue. We also had Nicholas from the YFJ giving us a speech, and he also put this conference into context. It can feel a bit isolated being here in the plenary, not having windows, not having kind of a connection to the outside world. But yes, of course, this conference is taking place in a very specific context. Here in Spain, in Europe, we are facing massive challenges as young people, but as society as a whole. And we really want to encourage to bring these perspectives also to the dialogue, to have a really purposeful engagement and a purposeful ideas and recommendations develop that connect to today's issues, which you know actually best from your expert positions. And last but not least, I think I don't have to summarize too much what the trio presidency just introduced to you, but I think they've just showed us very well their connection and how also they have different focuses within the cycle. So we have the feedback, the evaluation of the EU Youth Dialogue. We have the inclusion toolkit to enable more inclusive dialogues. And of course, we have these conferences where we really want to thrive forward to get good recommendations, good ideas to help improve European youth policy making in the field of inclusion. That was a brief recap of today, and I promise you it will be less speeches in the afternoon, but more people as delegates talking and you engaging in dialogue. But we really wanted to make sure that everybody knows what his or her role is in here and why this conference takes place.
Thank you so much, Clara. And I think I have a really nice announcement for you now, because it's time for the coffee break. But I would like to explain you where you have to go, because it's not in this area. You have to go to the E area, that is the entreplanta in the elevator. It's called Plaza area, and the coffee break will be served there. But we need you to be back here at 11:30 for the panel session. Okay?
We know that the pool is close by. We will catch you if you go in that pool during the coffee break. Please be back.